Alright, quick questions and answers time here. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I'm going to shoot through these really fast because don't want to eat too much time off the clock and got a lot to do still. Here we go. Question number one, how many hours per week do you feel is comfortable for you to grind profitably? Right now I'm probably only playing between 30 and 35 hours a week live, which is definitely on the lower side than it should be. And there we go. And you know, that's really comfortable. For me, it's more a function of how much in a day I can play in a single session. And I find that after 5 or 6 hours, I start to fall off my A game and not play as well. So the best thing for me to do is to play smaller 5 to 6 hour sessions or less. And if I need more volume, that sometimes means I need to take a break for a few hours in between. And that kind of resets the clock for me and lets me play several sessions in one day. I think comfortably I could go up to 40, 45 hours. Higher than that, something crazy like 50 or 60, it's totally doable, but you know, I don't see myself putting myself through that unless I had a good reason to. Go. And like I said, some of these questions I could probably spend hours talking about, but we're just going to be firing through them really quick here, and some of the stuff maybe in future videos I'll go into more details on. Do you think your playing style is best suited to 1-2? That's kind of a tough one. My playing style, if you've noticed, is super loose aggressive, and it's pretty far at odds with what I or most poker players would recommend as being ideal for the live 1-2 games. It works really well for me. I think maybe it's something that's a little more flexible for moving up than a really straightforward tag style and tight aggressive style. And so hopefully that proves to be the case. You say you came up online and then transitioned to live. What games did you beat online? Do you still play on an American-facing site at all? If not, why? I play around 10 to 15 hours a week online, WSOP.com and ACR. It's not something I'm going to talk a lot about in the videos because I just don't really have any passion for it. Some weeks I don't play at all online, and then like this week, for example, I played maybe 10, 15 hours. Some weeks I play a lot more. I find that in the wintertime, when the weather gets really cold, I'm more prone to stay home and play more hours online. Still just a small sample size, or do you think there's a reason you crush 1-2 but not 2-5? All poker players, even the most down-to-earth and you know, chill people out there in the game struggle with a little bit of an ego problem. I think that stems from, you know, you're sitting around a table all day trying to better 8 or 9 players to eke out some kind of profit. And so, you know, as I started taking some stabs at 2-5, I was definitely telling myself that it was strictly a volume problem because I did start out running a little bad. But as I started to get more of a sample size, you really can't lie to yourself about the statistics, and the data was indicating that I'm definitely having some problems with my game in 2-5, to where I'm beating the game, but not even for close to the amount that the better rakes are, and definitely not for an amount that I'd be comfortable with. So yeah, the numbers say I need to adjust my game and make some changes there. Do you see poker dying out long term, and or do you have any plans to transition out of poker career-wise? The whole sky is falling, poker's over thing, it's hyped a lot by the internet guys. Money isn't as easy in some forms of poker as it used to be. There's still plenty of money to be made live. It's still really active. In some states, it's growing quite fast. Florida, Maryland, and the tournament scene is getting stronger. There's a greater diversity of games and tournaments, and they're pulling in bigger numbers every year. So I think it's kind of funny. I think if you tried to explain to someone who made their living in poker in the 70s or 80s, 90s, or even the early 2000s, before the whole moneymaker boom, that poker was dying, and dropped them in the environment that we have right now, they would laugh at you, because it was a lot harder for them. They had to squeak by in home games, and only a couple main locations that were hosting the kind of games they needed to play. And I think there's more to this question, though, because things do transition. Definitely the game's dying down online. There might be some changes that bring that back a little bit, but I think live poker will always be strong. It might be a matter of keeping up with the changes, though, because like the guys who were playing a lot of limit poker and stud before No Limit became the current title holder here, they were doing quite well for themselves, or at least getting by, and the ones that weren't able to transition to No Limit or didn't put the time into the game, they're not around anymore because there wasn't a big enough game availability for them. And I kind of feel like, in a way, that's going towards PLO right now. Not the extent that No Limit did, but I think that the profitability in the PLO games and the skill gap are a lot higher right now, and I think smart players should be diversifying their game and transitioning a little bit into PLO. Did you get your eyebrows done just for the vlog? Bro, why you gotta call me out like that? Yes and no. I do get my eyebrows done, not for the vlog. My significant other enjoys that, as well as a few other activities that I find to be plus EV, and definitely GTO to get those done. I stole that from Podcast with Joey. Game Theory Optimal. Every choice in life now falls into GTO or non-GTO. Wow, the sun's really raging here. Do you ever mix it up with tournaments? Either the shitty daily documents or the bigger events? Alright, I absolutely love tournaments. I'm so passionate about them. If I had unlimited funds, I would probably just fire tournaments all day, all over the place. I've had pretty good success in the daily tournaments and in some of the higher profile ones. And I'm not playing them right now because they are a big time sink and they take a lot of energy out of you. The profit margins can be really small. The volatility is absolutely crazy. And, my main focus right now is moving up to the 2.5 level. If I find myself firmly established there, I'm probably going to start playing a lot more tournaments again. But yeah, absolutely love tournaments. At one point, I was losing my passion for the game a little bit, and tournaments really helped reinvigorate me and make me want to work on the game again, and that stuck with me. So, love tournaments. I know a lot of cash game guys hate them. So fun, and some really good people in the tournament scene. Have you played with the Trooper, and what are your thoughts on his game? Oh, cross-contamination. I was wondering when a Trooper question was going to come up. Yes, I've played with them several times, most notably a while back. Me and a friend were playing a lot of sessions at Planet Hollywood. The games were really good at the time, and I think the Trooper was playing there pretty much all the time. We ended up in the same game a few times. I said hi, I told him I watched the videos. He's kind of an uptight, quiet dude at the tables, didn't seem super sociable. He seemed a little stressed out, but different people have different personalities, and even more so at the poker table. He seemed like he was playing fairly tight. Didn't get involved in a whole lot of pots. I don't know what else to elaborate on. He's an interesting character. I don't think I've seen enough of his game to really understand. He seemed like he was playing pretty tight, which is pretty well suited to most 1-2 games here in Vegas. And I think maybe he was up a little on those nights. He did ask for a table change at one point, which I thought was interesting because me and my friend and a couple other players at the table were drinking quite a lot, splashing the game. And so, I would have thought that would have been the spot to be in Planet Hollywood that night. We were definitely firing up some big pots and just playing super sloppy. How many hours do you usually play a week? Does it vary a lot, or do you try to be somewhat consistent with your play? Oh, I will get onto little schedules from time to time, and then I'll get off that schedule and onto another one. I find the most success when I get on a consistent grind, but that's really hard to do sometimes, and sometimes you need to be flexible around the games changing. Like I mentioned in the last question, Planet Hollywood games were great for a little while there, and they're still good, sometimes on weekends and at nights, but it's not quite as splashy as it was for a while there, so, ebb and flow in Vegas. Got a table select, and that includes timing your hours around when you're finding the good games and places. You seem to spend a lot more time at obscure places like South Point and GVR. How many tables do they usually get there, and what kind of players do you usually face there? Yeah, older crowd, recreational but regular players. Not terrible. They play really tight. A lot of them are on retirement checks, benefits, that sort of thing. They can be pretty sticky and stubborn on hands, so you got to be careful trying to get too loose aggressive on them. But at the same time, you're going to get paid off in a lot of spots. And yeah, they usually have a couple games running. The catch is, a place like GVR, the games go down usually by midnight on weekdays. Every once in a while, you'll get a good game that'll go a couple hours later. Places like Red Rock, they're going to have a lot of tables going pretty much all day and night. And South Point usually goes pretty late. Difference is, I guess, South Point, you get some golfer types and a little bit more loose money. But yeah, those are kind of reggy, non-touristy games. Not necessarily the most lucrative for most players, and you do need to adjust your play style to take advantage of that.